Hello everybody and welcome to Skycurser Daily number 31, where it's our goal to be a better indie dev today than we were yesterday. Today we've got some good things on the docket. Mainly we're going to pick up right where we left off yesterday, and that's going to specifically be at the point of adding collisions into a script, adding all the collisions for the Vulcan cannon into one script so that we don't have tons and tons of duplicate code. So it's a little bit of tech debt pay down, but it's a necessary step to move forward and make the code base more maintainable. Part of just good best practices for maintaining a code base. So that's probably be the main thing. If we are able to complete that, then we'll move on to pulling the katana and the shotgun into the Vulcan cannon script, so that everything can basically pass through the same script, and we have no duplicate code, or as close to no duplicate code as possible. So right now it's a little bit of a mess. We have a lot of duplicate code that is doing all of our collision checking. And of course there are little idiosyncrasies here and there for the collision checking. So you know, we could justify it and say that it does make sense to have some duplicate code, but best case scenario is no duplicate code and everything still does exactly what it needs to do on collision checks. So I think that's mainly it. And so let's go ahead and get started. Where we left off yesterday, we were basically inside of one of the scripts, and that is the script weapon collision. And right now this is mainly controlling the Vulcan cannon, and eventually will control the other two weapons that we currently have. So and maybe actually three weapons, because there's another weapon that we have that is the Griffin Special. We're going to add a couple more specials as well. Those will each have collision checks too. So we just want to make sure that we're catching everything. So a quick recap: we basically set up our script. We passed in a whole bunch of arguments. We set some defaults to those arguments. Basically, the defaults allow us to do overloading of parameters, and once we have those defaults set, we check to see if a specific argument exists. If it exists, then we set it, and then we get right into, you know, the meat of this script that does all of the collision checking. So we set an impact effect. We set the impact of the bullet, the power of the bullet, whenever it's going to connect with whatever particular object we're trying to check for a collision on, and then we actually check and see if we have a collision, and then we do specific things with both not only the weapon, the bullet that we're firing with, but also with the object that the bullet connects with. So we got into an interesting place last night. We basically added three enemies into this script, and let's go look at that. So I'm going to the objects, weapons, and looking for the mini blast bullet, which is part of the Vulcan cannon basically. And inside of here we migrated some of this code out of here and set up these calls to these scripts. And so we've got basically 1, 2, 3 that we commented out, and those are what we have accounted for inside of the script. And we checked everything is working properly. At the end of the stream we checked, and everything looks and works well. But we're running into an issue where we definitely looked it up right on stream last night, where a script can only take up to 16 arguments. So right now we already have 9 arguments, 0 through 8. So that's 9 total, and you know, we still have a lot of additional enemies to go through. Trying to pull that up here. We still have a lot of additional enemies to go through. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different enemies just with the Vulcan cannon to go through, and I'm sure, and the reason why this is important, this 16 parameter limit is important, well, one, because normally as a programmer you don't really want to pass that many arguments into a script, but two, we're going to run into a limit if we handle all the idiosyncrasies between all of these different enemies. So each enemy, you know, basically takes the collision and does something differently. Some of them are overlap, some of them do something maybe exactly the same as something else. That's good, but with the additional 11 enemies that we have to add in here, we're definitely going to run into some issues. So we do have a solution, though. There is a method called, or specifically a particular type inside of GameMaker called a DS map, a data structure map. And so data structures allow us to basically create an array and pass an entire array into a script. So with a data structure map, that's basically like an associative array. You're allowed to have a key and a value for each item that you want to set in the array. With a DS list, you can only really have a value, and so you kind of have to loop through that like a for loop, where you would basically go for I equals 0, I is less than the count of the items in the list, I plus plus, and you would loop over it that way. And of course you could probably do a for each loop. I'm not exactly sure. I bet GameMaker has the capability to do a for each loop. Nonetheless, our goal is mainly to pass in this map that's an associative array so that we can look for specific keys, and we can pass as many values as we need to. We could pass 100 values into the DS map, and so 100 values then would take up one space as a parameter in the script that we're trying to write. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do some rework. I mean, I'm working through this as we go, and I think it's fairly valuable to do this as we go, because we started out simple, and this is kind of what you do, you know, generally as a developer, is you create a script, you modify it, and then as it gets more complex you have to handle the complexities of what you're working with. So this is definitely natural, and I didn't start from the, you know, I basically didn't start in the script and just say I'm just going to pass in a data structure map, because normally I wouldn't start out passing a map into a script. So, but that's fine. In this case, we're at the point where I think we're going to need to start addressing that. So what we may do is spend a little bit of time right now and go ahead and create that map with what we have. So these three enemies that we're checking for collisions with the Vulcan cannon bullet, and then we'll move down into these other items, because these other items will map to what it is that we have. So I think we're in a good spot there to do that. So got one more thing to do real quick for the stream. Give me a second. Okay, we're in a pretty good spot. Okay, great. And at some point here, I don't know how long it's going to be, maybe 15, 20 minutes, I'm going to have to take a break. My family's coming home, so I got to make sure I give them a little bit of time. The break will only be probably 10 or 15 minutes, but feel free to step away for a minute when I do, and then hopefully you guys can, if it works for you, sync back up here after you're finished and after I'm finished. So, all right, let's start right here. I'm going to do one thing before I touch anything else, which is I'm going to go ahead and see if I can break these windows out one more time. Pop out windows. A restart will be required. Big resource tree icons. I don't think I've seen that yet. I'm a little scared to do that. Okay, let's try that. Let's go ahead and try this. Let's see what the big resource tree icons are. I'm gonna basically, I've showed you where I'm gonna pick up at, but in order to get these windows to pop out, which I would prefer, and I did that once and it had some issues. That's why I put them back where they were and just kind of didn't let them pop out. But I'm gonna restart GameMaker. And while GameMaker is restarting, we'll just kind of hang tight for a minute. And so I think it's almost finished here, and as soon as it's finished, we'll open it back up. Okay. Come on, GameMaker. Work with me. GameMaker periodically likes to bug out. This is making me think that I should go ahead and save my progress on what I've got done so far. So I'm going to make sure that I push to the cloud real quick and go ahead and push over to Bitbucket. Ah, here's the big resource tree icons. Huh. I'm not sure if I like it or not. We'll see. It may take up too much space. All right. Okay, so let's just go ahead and add everything that's not already part of this commit. Any new files that we added will be added with that command, git add period. And so there, that's done, and git commit -a allows us to create a message with this commit and create a message. So updates to level 2 and tech debt paydown. What's up, homie? Git push. So this is good. I'm not necessarily going to switch over to the dev branch because right now this is still a lot of tech debt paydown, which is what task SC2 was. Yeah, man, I'm feeling really good about the progress too. It's looking good. It's feeling good, and we're working through some more difficult bugs right now. So, or not bugs, but just trying to do some tech debt paydown and get us into a better state moving forward. So we're doing pretty good. I mean, once we get these changes done, Chris, we'll be able to I think move a little bit faster, and so I'm excited about that in general. So, all right, let's see how these windows go. The main thing was that we're going to look at objects. We were also going to look at inside of here. We're going to look at the mini blast bullet, and then inside of scripts, we're going to basically do the same thing. Pull up the weapons, but look at the weapon collision because we're consolidating everything in the step event from mini blast bullet over to the script. And so like I said, let's go ahead and create a map so we can just pass that as one parameter. It'll be very similar to the way we have it now, but we'll pass that as one parameter over to the script. And we'll basically have to create a map for each one of the items that's going to get passed over. But again, this allows us to add as many items as we need to into the script and pull them as we need to. So let's give it a name and just call it weapon map. I'm going to call it WM and just say weapon map. WM equals DS map create. So we've created it. Now we can start adding to it and say DS map add, and then we pass in the index that we just created, and then we can set keys and values. So key will be object weapon, value will be self. I think I can pass in a non-string into a DS map. I'm actually going to verify that real quick because I do remember looking a second ago and seeing only strings and integers passed in to a DS map. So I'm just going to verify. Key value pairs, you can check this function to see if it's successful or not, or it may fail if there already exists the same key in the DS map, or you specify non-existent DS map as the ID of the map to add to. Both keys and values can be made up either in integer strings, so all the following are acceptable. Unlike other data structures, in GameMaker Studio, this key will not go to the start nor the end of the DS map, or rather will just go into the DS map somewhere. That's fine. So I'm not necessarily I'm only seeing strings, integers and strings, and those are the options they have here. So first of all, we're going to make sure that we can add. We'll test and make sure that we can pass something over there. Let me look at something else really quick. Look at a DS stack. And create, destroy, clear, empty, size, copy, top, pop, push, read, write, push. Given values onto the top of the stack. Okay, still reading real quick the difference between these real quick. First in, first out data structure. Okay, priority. DS priority is a data structure based on the importance value of the information it contains. Ah, got it. And are there DS type grid? Check to see if a data structure of a given type exists. DS exists, index and the type. Map data structure, list data structure, stack grid. Let's look at the type grid real quick. Two-dimensional array. I'd rather not do a grid if I can help it. Let me look at DS grid. Add the X position, the Y position of the cell in the grid, the value to add to the cell. Okay, I'd rather not do that if I don't have to. So, let's see if we can add an object or a type in here. And we'll just do this with the very first one, DS map add, and WM, and we'll pass in the object enemy. Object enemy 3. I'm going to do this with the first one. DS map add WM X position X, DS map add WM Y position Y. And I think we basically have our DS map at that point. This is our weapon map. Let's call it DS weapon map. What up, the Beastly bro? We didn't play the shmup today, so no worries, man. Just getting right into it because I might have to take a brief break, and I want to make sure that I'm just getting right to the action today. So, think we're good. So yeah. All right. Script weapon collision. I think what we need to do is come over here and modify this so that we no longer will have to do overloading of variables, overloading of parameters, sorry. And let's see here. So we'll just do a quick test. And we'll pass in we'll create a new script weapon check DS map DSWM. So copy that guy, create script weapon check. Now we have the DSWM. Now I've got to I know I've created a DS map before. I'm just going to reference that. DS map. Create. That can't be it. I guess I haven't created a DS map. I thought I did. No worries on that. What I have to do though is make sure I loop through it correctly. Or, you know what, I can just do some output of debugging. So we'll just go show debug message, and we'll say we've got argument 0. So we're just going to say argument 0. Nope, I'm going to have to look how I can reference this properly. So give me a second. Hey Astra6, how's it going, man? DS map. Here it is. So question mark and then key. So we go argument 0 question mark, and the key would be accessors. Let's go look at this real quick. Yeah, question mark and then the key name. So key that we set on the step was object weapon. So we're just going to see if this outputs anything. If it does, we're in good shape. We may have to make the screen not full screen when we load, but we just want to see if it will behave properly. And it'll happen every time we shoot. So we'll just call object enemy. That'll be good enough. Let's just check that and see if we get anything from that. And in order to output that, we're going to have to go to the boot menu, or the boot object controller. And allow full screen to occur. I'm just trying to think, should I allow toggling of full screen? That might be helpful at times. I'll do that later. So let's see what we got here. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Okay, so just wait boot up. We'll see if we either have a bug because we can't pass an object in, or we don't. Okay guys, my family just walked in too. Like I said, I'm going to take a few minutes while they just walked in, but I'll do that as soon as we make this test, and hopefully you can join me back when I'm back here. I'm going to stay on stream, and yeah, I'll stay on stream, but I'll just set our break scene on, and then we'll come back here in just a few minutes as soon as we're finished. Still waiting for the compile here. I know. Still here, guys, just waiting for the compile. Here we go. Okay. And I was hoping to see that compile window.
Skycurser. Mission 1. Death at dusk.
Okay, looks like we had a bug. And just gonna paste it here. So I've actually got a way to do this. It doesn't like the fact that we're passing in the object, but there's a different way to do this. We can pass a string and then run asset get index and pass in that as a string, and that will work. So we'll do that right when I get back. Thanks for hanging with me if you're sticking around, guys, and I'll be back in just a little bit.